Okay, I'm here with Jason Witt, the Vanilla Gorilla, fighting Josh Quinlan this Saturday night at UFC Fight Night down at the Apex. Jason, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Just finished up my last training of this week, and just prepared for going to Vegas tomorrow.
Yeah, obviously you mentioned your last session there. You mentioned Vegas there. Just this next few days, how is that going to look for you?
It's pretty smooth sailing. We fly out tomorrow. I get to Vegas. Fly out to Vegas at 9 a.m. tomorrow. I think I get there like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. I don't remember exactly what time, somewhere around there. I think I'm heading to the PI Institute or the PI tomorrow to get some PT done. Just get a little massage, loosen up a little bit, enjoy myself. And then Julian Marquez is coming out there with me tomorrow. Jason High is coming out tomorrow night. And then James Krause flies out Wednesday. And I think Wednesday, I think we're doing a little top golf and little PI again, and then just
Yeah,
get the rest of the week going.
nice. I mean, you must be used to that process at this point. You've been down at the Apex a few times, so yeah. Well, how do you feel about that environment? Because obviously a lot of fighters now have been able to fight in sort of arenas, full crowds. All of your fights in UFC so far have still been at the Apex.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to switch it up a little bit. I'd like to talk to Sean Shelby a little bit and get me on a pay-per-view card just so it's my benefits. I love fighting the Apex. I love the fact that I can have a conversation with my coaches while I'm
Yeah,
fighting the person, almost like I'm in the room. Um, but I like for my friends and I like for my family to be able to come out and watch me fight. You know what I mean? My wife asked me 1,000 times, well, can I come out and watch the fight? I'm like, no, it's just not, it's just not my thing. You know what I mean? Like I don't have enough space to come out there and have you worry about it and all that stuff. Like I'd rather than be able to come out on a Friday night, get a hotel, go watch the fights at live. It'd just be a lot more fun. So hopefully after I get this win against Josh Quinlan, that I can get a pay-per-view card and get my friends and family out there. Or maybe even better, let's get a card in Kansas City. I'm definitely in for that.
definitely. I mean, Kansas City, technically we've got a champion now, right? So yeah. Um,
Say that
but
again.
I mean, Kansas City, technically you guys have got a champion right now. So get a card down there. Why
You do.
not? Yeah, we'll touch on him in a moment, obviously. But Josh Quinlan, you said then, is the opponent this time. It's his debut coming off the contender, so maybe there's not as much to go on. But what are your thoughts on him coming into this?
I mean, I have a little bit. One of the guys in my training camps is Dallas Jennings. He fought Quinlan a couple years ago. I don't know if it's years ago or a couple fights ago. So I got to pick his brain a little bit too. I also know one of my teammates, Mikey Breeden, who's also in the UFC, was teamed up or supposed to fight him for the Contender Series. Didn't work out that way, but I know Mikey Breeden did quite a bit of research on him too. We had James Krause did some research on him. So I mean, we have quite a bit of game planning to kind of figure out what we need to do to beat him, and then for just me to just show up and just get that W. It's all we really need to do.
Obviously on the contenders, we saw a quick finish, but there was also a suspension there as well. Do you have any thoughts on that at all?
Uh, Man, it's at first I heard it was weed, which I'm cool with.
Yeah,
Smoke weed all you want. I don't get it. But then I heard it was steroids, whatever the hell it was. And I don't care. Like if you need to do steroids to beat me, that's your thing. If I whoop your ass and you're still on steroids, then what are you gonna say? You know what I mean? So I think it's just a scapegoat for people. If they got to do it, that's fine. I also know people who've gotten busted by USADA who haven't done steroids. So
mm,
it's like I don't know if it's real or if he was busted or if he wasn't. You know what I mean? Or if he was busted and he wasn't on it. So it doesn't matter to me. It really isn't a big factor in my mind. It's just I'm gonna go out there and beat him regardless. You know what I mean? So I've rolled people who are on steroids and I'm still stronger than they are. So it really doesn't matter to me.
yeah. So you mentioned that. How do you kind of analyze this matchup, stylistically?
Yeah, I mean you got to look at the experience factor. Is going to play huge in this fight. I've had more losses guys had fights period or pro fights period. So I mean I've had a lot more experience. I've had a lot longer fight career than he has. And I really think it's going to pay off in the second, third round, especially coming off a layoff as long as it is. I don't believe ring rust is a real thing, but I do believe the UFC jitters are a thing. And I do believe if he was on steroids and then coming off of that, it's going to be a different story. It's going to be a different, kind of a different game in there because you can't use what you're used to using.
Yeah. Um, we mentioned it earlier. It was a big weekend for Glory MMA just now. first UFC belt to the team with Brandon Moreno. So what were your thoughts on that? And just really what's it been like having him around the gym, especially preparing for a fight at the same time as you?
There's been a lot of Spanish words that I can't understand. We'll talk about this soon. No, man, it's been fantastic. He really is. He's a genuinely really nice guy. He's probably one of the hardest workers in the gym. That's why he's the champion. He kind of shows the younger guys and people who haven't been here as long as I have, like what it takes to get to this level. And people understand that you see him drilling extremely hard. He's there 30 minutes before drilling. He's there working. And James Krause is one of the best learners in the entire game. It's really fantastic just to see. I haven't known Moreno for longer than 6 months. So I really can't say. He was a champion before he came to Glory, but I really think that our team helped him out a lot with this fight. We have a lot of guys who emulate really well of Kai Car France, but I know the work and the output that Krause has put in with him, and to see Krause get that, I know it's been one of his life goals is to be a world champion coach, and to see him get that is way cooler to me than actually having a champion in the room. I know that sounds very weird, but to see somebody who's had such a big effect on my life and helped me out so much to achieve one of his life goals, it's way cooler to me than anything else.
You mentioned Kraus there. Obviously, we heard about an hour ago that he's decided to retire. Obviously, he's someone you've been close to for a while.
I
You
didn't hear
haven't heard
that.
that?
I mean, I knew he was retired, but I didn't know it came out public. I had no idea. I did
Oh
not know that.
no, he was on Ariel's show like an hour ago.
That's what I knew he was on Ariel today. I didn't know he was coming out as retired.
No,
But
that's what he said. So
not anymore. I know he's had a lot of injuries and he's been in this game for a long time. But yeah, I didn't know that.
yeah. All right. So obviously he's someone you've been super close to for a while now. Just sort of he seems like someone who takes, as you mentioned there with Moreno, so much pride in the guys he works with.
Yeah, for sure, man. He's never been the guy who's like, I want to be UFC champion. He's never been, I want to be the top. He's always just wanted to make a successful career out the UFC and be financially stable from it. And he's always wanted to be the coach. He's always wanted to be a world champion coach. He does a honestly, he's a fantastic fighter. He's the best guy in the room. He really is. But he's a better coach and a better understanding. He learns so much different stuff about different people, and he applies that to the person he's actually working with. And that's something you don't get a lot of coaches. You get kind of almost a cookie cutter. We're doing this, this, and this. When he says we're doing this, you messed up on this fight. We're doing this for this fight. Yada yada. So really, it's cool to see him just to succeed in life because he's had he's had ups and downs like everybody in this game, but he's just one of those guys that pushes through, and it's really kind of fun to see what he's done.
Yeah, obviously different fighters have different preferences when it comes to coaches. So what do you feel it is about him that makes him a good fit for you?
I'm a huge respect guy, and he's one of those people that he'll never tell you to do something that he's not willing to do himself. If he says, "Hey, you got to do 10 rounds today," and if you don't, that's on you. But he will be in there doing 10 rounds.
Yeah.
He's going to do it himself. He's going to do the same thing. You know what I mean? So he's never going to be one of those guys that just tells you to do something and then goes sits on the sideline. And that to me, it just kind of shows you the way and shows you how to do things. And for me, that's huge. I respect it. He's gained my respect from that. And for me, that's bigger than almost anything else.
Yeah. One thing I want to touch on quickly before we head towards the end here. You're from Kansas City. Kansas as a state is almost the home of open scoring. Obviously you're in Missouri, but Kansas, Missouri, that sort of area. We've seen a lot through Invicta and things like that. What are your thoughts on open scoring?
I think it's fantastic. I don't see why we wouldn't do it. I don't see the cons to it. I don't see what's an issue with it. I do see a lot of pros to it, so I don't see why we don't do it. I see there's a lot of things. If you're down 2 rounds, you know what I mean, then we got to work for this third round no matter what. If it's 1-1, it's close. We still got to work for that third round. I really think it's open scoring would change a lot of things in this game. I think it helped out a lot.
Yeah. So what do you think it would take for more states to kind of test it? Is it just more examples of it working in places like Missouri, places like Colorado, where we saw it the other week? How do you think it can kind of branch out at this point?
Yeah, again, like I don't see why it's not. I do think it'll take more people, more states, more commissions to just kind of, hey, we're trying this out. This is going to help out a lot. It's like I viewed as Colorado selling weed. You know what I mean? Like making weed illegal. Like they paid off their entire tax bill for a long time. Like they just takes one state to make something that's better to create, more for other people.
Just to finish off here, back on the fight this Saturday night. What can fans expect when they tune in Saturday night for Josh Quinlan and the Vanilla Gorilla?
Somebody's getting picked up and somebody's getting thrown across the cage. That's just what I do nicely, and I enjoy doing it. And I like making, even though there's not a crowd there, I'm gonna make the crowd scream.
There's a couple hundred people there, right? That's good enough. All
Do
right.
what?
There's a couple hundred people there, right? That's enough. Yeah,
Hey, it's loud enough. It works for me.
cool. All right. Yeah, thanks for the time today, Jason. Busy week, so I'll let you get on. Best of luck this weekend.
Oh man, appreciate it. Thank you.